Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about today's energy update. Okay, good morning. It is Monday, July 28th, and I have your energy update for today. Hi, my name is Paula Taylor. I'm a sound and energy activator, intuitive reader, and channeler, body worker, and fearless alchemist, and I coach people on the path to spiritual awakening. And a lot of you are new here, so welcome. I'm so glad. And thanks again to Gia for adding me. I am going to tag her in this video because she made a video yesterday that kind of ties into this one, and I'll repost that as well. Okay, so I got up this morning, I looked at the Schumann resonance, and there's like this gap between all this intense energy we've been getting. And right away I was like, my spidey senses are telling me that this was a timeline shift. And my guys were like, no. And I was like, well, and like the way the graph even looked, again, there's like a three-dimensionality of this like forward and back kind of looking like there's two different timelines going, sort of one in the back and one in the front. And then there was a big shift in the center between all of this activation energy. And so when I asked them, they were like, it's a frequency shift. And I was like, I mean, like potato, it's a timeline shift. And they're like, well, let us explain this to you. So let me explain this to you because I'm very excited about this. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I use a lot of analogies. My guides like to make things more more concrete and less abstract, so that this is like understandable, because I am a professional energy worker and it can be very abstract, this like understanding what is happening and what's going on energetically and on a quantum level. So I've been using this analogy for a while that they gave me of a craft single. So you've got your ooey gooey, like dense, heavy, kind of cheese-like product in the center, and then you've got the cellophane that's wrapped around. So what is happening right now, gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, sorry, is that the cellophane is actually starting to peel back. So instead of just having the cheese and the cellophane like right on top of it, now there's space between the cheese and the cellophane. So the timelines are starting to shift apart. They're starting to split again. And this has happened multiple times since the beginning, the middle of June last year. Like we had the kind of first big split of the 3D, 5D, and then we've had there was an eclipse. We had another big split. So like things have been moving, and this is quantumly, this is the part that makes this hard and kind of abstract, is that like in the physical, we're still sharing the same physical reality, but in the quantum, we're shifting. And eventually, when we shift enough in the quantum, the physical will start to change. And this is the point that we're at, and I'm so excited, oh my gosh. And my last video, like a lot of you commented, and I just want to make sure, my first mentor, her name was Sherry Ford. She was a boomer. She was a self-described old hippie. And she is the reason that I'm sitting here. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, because I said something about like Gen X and millennials and elder millennials and zennials. And I kind of mentioned boomers. And like, man, you guys have been holding this space for so long and holding the faith for so long. I've been doing this for 20 plus years and spent a lot of that time like wondering if I was just screaming into a void. So like somebody had said something about, I've been doing this since 1968. Like that's before I was born. So we are in this together, and we have all created this shift together. I have goosebumps over my entire body. So let me tell you what this means. As the cellophane starts to peel out, there is space between the two realities that we haven't had before. The ooey gooey cheese, which is the like 3D, the density, sort of the fear vibration. And then now there's some space where like there's a lot of people in between, and you're fine if you're in between. We're going to talk about that. And then the cellophane itself is actually like expanding out. So if you've been holding this space for a long time, if you consider yourself a light worker, if you've just been doing this work for a long time, like I feel amazing right now. And that doesn't mean if you don't feel amazing, you're doing anything wrong. I'm just going to leave that there. What I am saying is that if you are feeling this huge expansion, that is because it is finally happening on a collective level that cannot be ignored. And so what is happening is that even the people in the ooey gooey cheese they don't feel very good. They don't know why they don't feel very good, but they don't feel very good. And so a lot of them just moved into like kind of this space in between to like the lower edge of the cellophane. And because they have expanded the space around the cheese, it's actually pushing the cellophane out. So those of us who've been holding this cellophane layer, some of us since 1968, like people are finally starting to move out toward that cellophane layer in larger and larger numbers. People have been doing this since then, small numbers, then a little bit more, then a little bit more. This latest, what I want to call a timeline shift or adjustment, and they're going to just say it's a frequency shift. You can see it on the Schumann. There's like a line where like ton of activation, line of blue, ton of activation. And again, if you look at it, you can see kind of what's behind the activation. That's the ooey gooey cheese layer. And the activation is the cellophane actually moving out. So what I want to be really clear about here, and hopefully I don't run out of time, is that if you are doing this work with intention, you are supporting the expansion. So if you are in the density and doing your shadow work right now, like as long as you're doing the shadow work, as long as you're doing this with intention, that supports expansion. If you are in integration right now, which is like, man, I can't do anything and I need some rest and I feel like I got hit by a truck, if you are doing that with the intention of serving expansion, you are serving expansion. If you're in the huge expansion, like I clearly am because I sound like I'm on crack, you are serving expansion, and we are all serving each other wherever we're at, and we all go through all of those stages. I just spent a lot of time in that kind of density shadow work space over the last like 4 to 6 weeks with moments of expansion. And as long as you are setting the intention to continually serve expansion, it doesn't matter where you are in the moment, you are still serving the expansion. If you are doing the density that leads to the space around the cheese, which is kind of like integration, that leads to the cellophane to move out, you are still serving expansion. So this is about intention and awareness, and this is also about doing the work. And I don't mean this in like a capitalist, like you gotta be constantly working. I mean like if you are lying down and that's all you can do today, then you are affirming, I allow myself to rest and integrate, and I focus on expansion. It's the and. That is what the 5D is. It's not either or. It's not like, oh, I'm in the shadow work or I'm in the expansion. I'm in the dense shadow work and I'm really doing this heavy duty release and it feels like a lot and I've got a lot of ascension symptoms and I am serving expansion. As you add that sort of nuance, complexity to the work that you're doing, you truly are serving expansion. And you don't necessarily need to say it, but adding that as an affirmation, like my guides are like, yes, you do. Okay, say that out loud as you can. I wake up today and I serve expansion. And that doesn't, like, again, maybe you wake up today and you laid in bed for an hour and a half because you were having a flare-up of some sort of a chronic thing. Like, you're not doing anything wrong if you're in that space. You're still serving expansion. Without the gooey cheese, there's nothing to spread around. There's nothing to move away from, right? We need those contrasts because we are in a 3D reality, which is kind of black or white, all or nothing, like this or that. And as we move, that's the 5D, the cellophane, as it expands and expands and expands, eventually we will be occupying even physically a space that feels less dense. And that is where some of these like physical changes that we were talking about have been coming in of like, you look different. You're suddenly like, I suddenly dropped like 10 pounds and then maybe they came back. I don't know. I don't care. I feel really good. I feel really expanded. And I'm not eating as much. I don't have as much of an appetite. It's all of those things that we see kind of changing as this shifts. So I've got not a huge amount of time to give you energy, but know that as I'm talking, energy is coming through the entire time I'm talking. We move energy through our conversations. I do this all the time in virtual sessions, and you can always reach out to me one-on-one. There's a little thing over there that says what my website is. Lots of free resources there too. So don't do this while you're driving. If you can, close your eyes, put a hand or even two on your heart, put something in the comments to consent, because this is a lot of beautiful expansion energy today, a lot of clearing. Say wherever you are at on this journey, affirm, I serve this expansion, and know that you are loved and know that you are supported. Have a beautiful day.